Okay, so Holden's shot was a little bit more difficult than some of the others to break down because he has seemingly good form, but the shot ends up going left or sometimes hooking. He's got some issues with where it ends up sometimes. He does have a good shot, but I was just, it took me a little while to get to the nuts and bolts of what might be what we could improve upon. But I think I found a few things. So let's start with his lower body. I think he does actually a very good job. He kind of swings his hips out like I taught him. The only issue I see on this frame right here is as he swings it out, his body gets too high. I would still be sitting low, have his legs a little bit wider apart because, as you see, he's almost leaning back a little bit. I still want his head facing forward, so maybe bring the chin piece over his shoulder towards the goal. See if he can just twist his body with his head looking forward. That's kind of nitpicking a little bit though. So I don't dislike the shuffle that much. Just a little bit off on that, what I talked about. And then we have the arms. He's got pretty good arm extension right there. As we come back, I like everything I see right now. Okay, except maybe this back foot going in that direction rather than here. Planting there would probably give him a little bit better force going forward. But I know he's stepping back so he can maintain this angle of his hips back towards the camera, which I do like. But if he was able to keep his leg forward, his foot forward like this, and his hips like this, then that forward thrust of his hips would really snap, wrong one, would really snap around a lot better if that foot was straight down. All right, so that's just something to think about. Hands, there is, he's been practicing his form. It's pretty obvious. He gets good extension. I like that. A little bit of a tightness to his front elbow. If we look right in this vicinity here, a little bit of tightness there. How he kind of brings it straight down rather than swinging it through the zone. So that might account for a little bit of the pulling to the left that I see sometimes when he shoots. But there is something else. As he brings his elbow down, look at how his hands turn. I think he's controlling his stick a little bit too much with that bottom hand, and he twirls it outward strangely. So much so that on the forward swing, he's twisting, and this is something different than I've seen right here. He has almost the back of his glove at facing the goal as he's shooting. So I really want to work on hand placement with Holden when he is doing his time in room shot, because I think that might be something that that I haven't seen too often, but we can get to the bottom of. The other thing is this kind of elbow roll that I see right there. Watch how, when I run it kind of in slow-mo, you can see how that elbow rolls over. He kind of rolls it over. It's almost a pushing motion with that hand, and then a weird elbow rollover. So his backhand is kind of pushing, and he's not really getting much snap out of his front hand. His front hand's pulling down, and it's almost like he's doing all the snapping with one hand, and that's why the ball hooks left. Again, technique-wise, to the naked eye at full speed, the technique looks pretty good. But when you slow it down, you notice those few things, but also his chest and his head. Like if you look at his head right there, his head goes all the way to the left too soon. Right? His head should be looking at the goal, still looking at the goal, and then turning now after the ball has left his stick. His head comes around too soon, which causes him to pull that ball a little bit. The last thing that I'll say is this foot right here is kind of stepping back. If we were to draw a straight line here, there would be space, I think, between the front and the back leg. So it's almost like he's opening up back, which is also causing him to hook left. Well, I hope those help. Let me know. Thanks a lot.